Well, another day, another fucking, I don't know, like stupid takes and stuff. So, God, I don't even know how it even got to this point exactly. I want to talk about the state of the world and why we're seeing a bit more bigotry than we used to on like social media and stuff. And to be honest, I think this is just because of a lack of willpower, is it? I forgot the term for like when you really want something to happen. Yeah, but it seems like today we're seeing a lot of like bigotry and discrimination against people. Like, I think it's even spreading to well-meaning people. So I'm talking about people who sort of lean left and even centre for that matter. I don't know where I lean exactly. I just prefer to decide what's right with critical thinking and research and stuff. I think that's far better for everyone and far safer. Because I think a lot of the problem now is that people seem to think the ideas that they get in their head are actual evidence, and to be honest, it does sound like schizophrenia. Like, there's not beat around the bush there. It just does sound like paranoid schizophrenia anyway. But people get this idea that something's wrong with a group because of something they found in their head. Like, for example, because there are paedophiles who only touch little boys for some reason, that means gay people are to blame for that. And that's just not the case. Because if you look at it statistically, at least to my knowledge, you'll see that there's the same percentage of, say, people who are probably LGBTQ plus who are molesting children, the same as heterosexual straight people, cisgender, are. So really the point is just nothing. There's no difference. And so that ends up conflating the issue, inflating, I can't remember. Well, it exaggerates things and also just completely muddies the waters. So, in a sense, this is a character, the destruction of ego. Because I think the people saying this have something to hide. Let's be honest. Because there's no other reason to sort of spout that sort of thing without evidence other than to hide your own sort of inner demons and stuff. And yeah, there's a conspiracy theory, let's be honest. Um, I just think that people who are sort of saying this are spreading the misinformation, and that unfortunately is being believed. It sort of reminds me of anti-vax, to be honest. Like, everyone was just spying on shit that just didn't correlate with the science. Like, vaccines cause autism, and COVID vaccine was just a fucking virus, a spyware or something. Like, it's just so fucking crazy what people come up with, and even like flat Earth, which was actually disproven like way before modern science was. Because I saw from a channel, I forgot the guy who makes the existential crisis videos, or what he's famously known for. But he basically made a video about how we found out the Earth wasn't flat, and I think it dated back to like it might have been 1600s, but it might have been before that. And basically, two people recorded the time of these like pillars in the desert and looked at the shadows where they were, and then discovered that at the same times the shadows were different. So something there wasn't actually right, because the Earth couldn't be flat. Because if it was, they would experience the same shadow. So yeah, it's just crazy to think that people won't even believe that. The most simplest thing to ever fucking do as an experiment. So it's just kind of like, what's going on now? I think this comes in to like the internet and stuff and how it's misused and everything. Because fucking hell, it is misused. I remember back in 2008 when really social media was just starting to take off, and online gaming was quite a big component. It was just fine back then. It wasn't perfect, but it was useful. And now, because there's so much prevalence of technology, we end up seeing it misused and misplaced, for that matter. Like, if you look at the fucking London hospital that got hacked recently, this more than anything is more proof that we need to step back from technology. Because if we put everything digitally, like everything we know and love and whatever, if you put that digitally, that's bound to get stolen, and there's going to be AIs that even do that. And hell, I'm not even excluding the possibility of an AI that finds physical data, for that matter, meaning it's not digitalized. So there's more to be scared about with AI and stuff than the actual fucking people who misuse the internet. But again, this is like a call for change and stuff. Like, we can't live like this. And this goes for anyone, LGBTQ+, vegan, disabled. We definitely need to take a step back, and it's really important that you try to make steps to do that sooner rather than later. Because we don't know when all this technology is gone, or an AI has just gone too far. It's just a worrying thing, and I know with sort of war scarcity and stuff, we obviously have to fear nuclear war, but that's kind of why we need the technology, and I think we as people, we don't need to rely on technology to get around. Like, there's books, there's hell, if you have like a sort of, is it a dump, or I don't know what you call them, junkyard? Basically a place where you dump things. Sometimes they have shops in them, from my personal experience. And you can get stuff from them, you can buy them cheap, and it's still working, and still something there. Like, some of it isn't quality, but still, you might even get a laugh out of it if it's bad enough. And that would have probably made it worth it. But yeah. And this is why people are buying second-hand as well. Like, I don't think it's not vegan to buy sort of second-hand fur or leather or whatever. Admittedly, it's off-putting. I think it needs definitely to be stated that that's bought second-hand, so it isn't supporting the supply and demand of that thing. But that's the thing. I think if we produce vegan things, then that's going to cost more to the environment. I think that could even be sort of backed up with evidence, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, you still have to eat a vegan diet because that's something that's disposable, and that's the difference. Things that are disposable, I think you can easily change. Things that aren't, you probably can't change that much. Like, you can't just buy an electric car suddenly and be okay for the environment, but you can buy a fucking bike. In a sense, they're disposable, but they're not. But like, they last a long time, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If you can get just a bicycle, and yeah, you've done a lot for the environment just by using it. Trying to think. I think the other thing that we struggle with now is communication. I think this reliance on stuff like dating apps and stuff is really toxic. And this sort of stems from my personal experience as well. I think it's a struggle to sort of find a mate or relationship for that matter. And that's kind of what's destroying people to an extent. And then you look at like the bigotry online and you think, how do you even get to that conclusion? Like, what suddenly turned and what went wrong and something like that. It just gives all these different questions and you don't really get any straight answers. And I remember seeing this video a while ago about the loneliness pandemic with men. I think what's scary about that is really men are being sort of devalued, and there's actually a big increase in misandry that matter. And I think people who reacted to that video forgot who made that. With Miss Andrea, it's a bit like, well, you're kind of proving the point, aren't you? It's ridiculous. Admittedly, there's an attitude in men that needs to change as well, like the masculinity and stuff. And I think that's an attitude that needs to change in women as well, because I think the women who pick the men, or even like as I mean, it's inclusive, like the gay men who pick stronger men, then you're just picking people wrong. Let's be honest here, because I think the reason why we're sort of failing nowadays is because you pick the people that are going to put you in the most vulnerable situation, and that will cause you to obviously sort of fucking closet yourself and close yourself off from the world, because I've seen so many times that people fall in love with someone who's quite masculine or open even, and they end up getting physically or verbally abused or mentally or whatever. But it's just some sort of domestic violence that is really not fun. I'm even experiencing it myself with just a housemate of all people. And this is a housemate who's just some fucking egoist and supposedly autistic, but I don't see it. And the problem is that I'm being bullied here and I'm not enjoying myself, so I'm having to move. And he has this alpha male mindset where he thinks he can dominate me and stuff. And the police aren't doing anything about it, the landlord isn't doing anything about it. Like, at this rate, I'm just gonna dox him, and I don't fucking care. Like, it's serious at this point. And people think that I'm sort of making this up and stuff, but they won't tell me that I'm making it up, so it just gets lost in translation a lot of the time. And this is what's really wrong with men, to be honest. So you don't look out for the vulnerable people, you end up losing them. That's quite a serious thing to think about, quite heavy as well. There are a lot of vulnerable people today, and unfortunately they don't even get the light of day because people just think they're like less than them or something, or not even worth caring about. I see that a lot when I look at channels like Special Books by Special Kids. It's extremely sad to see, because there are people definitely worthy of living and deserve to have a good life, but again they don't see it because there's this narrative that goes around in society that you need to be a walking, talking person to actually be someone, and you need to have all these like perfect traits, and this ties into the thing about tolerance. I think I almost made a video about it, I might have actually. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I actually tried to make it and I didn't. But tolerance is quite important as well, because nobody's perfect. Like, I can't stand music that's like heavily digitalized. Trying to think like drift funk. Not notable. I've actually had trauma around that because of my last living place, so I can't live near main roads anymore or anything where there's too many cars. And it's so sensory overwhelming that I just can't stand it. Like, I actually wanted to kill people because of that. Is bad, but again, I need to sort of tolerate the taste that people have. It's mainly because of how loud they're playing it, it's not the music itself. Well, I even took issue with people playing like Queen and classical music of them. I think there's even someone playing fucking 70s to 60s rock music at full volume once. I remember that because it's kind of funny. It was like, is that a song Johnny something? I can't remember. I might have been Jailhouse Rock, I can't remember. Either way, it's like the volume. I think also this lack of control is what's destroying us. I think this is why we're sort of bound to fail, no matter the group you're in, the minority, whatever. Because you need to have a voice that's louder than everyone else and also have control of yourself. This way, there needs to be like some sort of government intervention and stuff. And this is what I said, like, we need regulation of everything pretty much now. Like, even something as simple as food. Like, we need regulations for this. Because the world is going to destroy itself. Otherwise, AI is already destroying us because it's making things so fucking easy to sort of make, although not human. Because you can't sort of put a human element into AI exactly. You can try to mimic it, but it's not going to be perfect. That's one trait that we have that AI will never have. Because AI might be able to mimic talent, but they can't mimic the heart, the thought, or anything like that. Like, to an extent, it's like deeply philosophical. Like every sort of thing that you do in these hobbies that AI can do, like every little thing that you do is like unique to you, and an AI can't copy that. Like how long we make a note, how long we make a line in art, or something like that. I think AI as well is also just being misused to spread the bigotry, because I think most of the bigotry anyway is AI now. Yeah, I see it on YouTube and stuff. And God, that reminds me of when I saw a video about, I think it was a family with a trans kid. The trans kid was about, I think, 4 or 6 years old. People were saying that, oh, that's abusive. These parents should be the kid should be taken away from the parents. And what evidence do you have that it's abusive? That's the question here. Like, you do abusive things to your children all the time. Everyone as parents have done that. Whether it's taken to doctors or the schools, to school even. Because nobody wants to go to school, let's be honest. We only want to learn something that we're interested in. That's one of the problems as well. But it's just ridiculous that people can even throw out these accusations and get away with it. Well, there definitely needs to be systems in place that sort of prevent people from misusing the internet. Like if you sort of ban toxic people from using the internet for a day or two, with like taking into account like when you need to use it for like medication and stuff, then I think we'd have a much nicer place, to be honest. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it too long, but Christ, something needs to change. I even thought about becoming some sort of speechwriter because I'm much better at writing things down than I am talking about them like I am now. That's also another thing that we sort of saw the decline of, to be honest. Like in recent years, like I think back to when in history lessons I used to learn about um, Martin Luther King, and I think we learned a bit about Rosa Parks. I can't remember. For some reason, we didn't learn that. I don't think it was just mentioned, and that was it. Either way, we just learned about the different sort of rights that people put up there. Yeah, Malcolm X, that was another one. We just learned about the different civil rights movements, and yeah, one of the things that was like most prevalent in that is actually the speechwriters and the is it figureheads? I don't know. They say people who sort of lead the charge, and admittedly it's a bit of a slippery slope nowadays to have a leader, but this is because people are not tolerable. Like for fuck's sake, in the vegan movement, like there's people who sort of don't like Joey Armstrong for some reason because he's an ex-gang member, ex-drug taker. What the fuck is that about? Like people change for the better. They go off drugs and get out of these shitty situations so they can have a positive change on the world, and you're sitting here criticising them of the past. How about the time you fucking stepped on an ant or like trying to think, maybe you hit a sibling or something. Like, there's plenty of mistakes that we've made, big and small. And I think forgiveness is also an important part of that. it reminds me of my sort of family situation to an extent. Because I didn't used to talk to my dad because he had an abusive side that I saw when I was young, and that was fucking terrifying. But I eventually began to see past that and started giving him forgiveness. And so I talk to him now and everything's fine. I'm actually kind of better because, well, one, I have my family in my life, and two, I could talk to him about almost anything. I don't have to fear sort of having any backlash, and that's really good. That's a power of toleration anyway. I've no doubt that he has things about me that he doesn't like, and I don't know. It's the same for everyone. I don't think there's any parent in history who has had a child who's perfect. I don't think that ever exists. Never will exist for that matter. I think really the TLDR, the key giveaways here, for sort of changing the world, you need to address everything around you and decide whether, after thought, decide whether it's the right thing to do and see where you can make improvements. I tried to buy safe-free chocolate, for example, as a treat for myself, regardless of its cost. Like Tony's Chocolonely, I strongly recommend it. They have some great vegan chocolate. But they're trying to stop the child slavery and stuff, and I think even just slavery in general in the cocoa industry. Cacao, however you say it. I don't know why it's got two different names. Yeah, I'll probably always buy from them. And also, like, some places do say they are trying to tackle it anyway, and I think that's better than nothing, because I think some places don't. But at some point it will become a marketing gimmick. It'll be like some sort of thing. I don't know what you call it. Something washing. Because in the vegans, like, we have greenwashing. And it's like things are posed as eco-friendly, and they're actually not. And it's just like, why? It's fucking stupid. The only way to know something is eco-friendly is by doing the science and looking at the research and stuff, like tracing the ingredients that you've had from something. Like, if you take a Beyond Burger, for example, and you trace all the ingredients to, like, how far they've travelled and the emissions that the transport vehicles left off, and you get your number. And this is why people are saying that meat is the most, like, unfriendly to the environment. It's because all of these crops are transported back and forth, as well as the animal transport themselves. It's just too much for the environment. And this is why we need to change. And you have to change to things that are not necessarily comfortable, for that matter. Like, holy shit. Like, there are sort of things that you can't change. Like, with me, I've encountered problems before. I tried a bamboo toothbrush once, and honestly, the texture of wood in general, I've never liked. It's overwhelming and it feels horrible. It leaves a tingly feeling for days, even. Don't know what voice is going. Yeah, it's frustrating. You know, we can only do our best. I think that's important. I think the other bit of advice is to obviously regulate things. Like, governments need to regulate everything now. I've seen so much misuse of, like, the internet and AI. Also just misuse of, like, products. Because, like, people sell so many fucking duplicates that it just makes no sense. I think there needs to be some sort of grounds where you can't exactly copy a product. Like, there's a lot of lawsuits around that, a lot of money to be made. I think even more importantly than that is just the fact that there's so many shit products out there that just need to be off the market. Because they either don't fit the purpose or people can't make use of them. And I think that's the bigger issue here as well. If you can't make more use of something that you found useless, then what's the point of it? I remember when selfie sticks came out, it was a laughable thing. It was shit, to be honest, the way it was marketed, I think. But it has use. Like, you can get fisheye shots, you can get some sort of like bigger photo, for that matter. Like back in the day, of course, you used to use a timer, a camera on the tripod. But the selfie stick allows for easier fucking shots of like you and your friends and stuff. Like, it's not entirely a stupid idea. And this is also the point about being unbiased as well. As much as we want to hate on something that's new and obviously not well designed or even not useful for us, it could be useful for someone else. So yeah, I think a lot of accessibility is sort of being old nowadays, which is sad because there's a place for it, a place for people even. Anyway, I'm getting tired and thirsty, so I'll stop there. I'm interested to know what people think. It's not the usual thing I make, but I think I have to put my voice out there. Sort of follow myself up on my own words, for that matter. Because yeah, things need to change. They need to change soon.